Invisible transactions and agreements. You might be sitting with one right now that you aren't even aware of. Today we'll be showing you exactly how to uncover agreements, how to break them, and what to do with an emotion that you do not want to partner with. Stick around, love you guys, and see you after the show.
You can't break an agreement by yourself. You need to submit it to a higher authority in order for the authority to determine what the outcome of that is.
Taking the time to recognize what the agreement is, whether or not that's a system of beliefs that are holding you back, whether it's partnering with an emotion. A lot of it comes from just the goodness and the grace of God. To submit an emotion to God or to ask Him to renew your mind.
I had to travel to Home Affairs to go and collect my license that got stolen, and I was driving. It took about 35 minutes to drive to this place. I left the home early. I didn't spend quiet time that I'm used to in the morning, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like on the way, listened to some music, had a chat with the Lord, and like on my way there, cool, perfect. When I came into the place, you know when you walk into a place and you can just like feel like almost like the atmosphere is different from like what you're carrying. It's like when you step into it, you just feel it, and it wasn't necessarily a good thing. But I brushed it off, and I walked up to the lady and like, you know, I'm here to come and collect my license. And she was like, so where's your ID? And I'm like, can I give you a digital version of it? She said no. I said, well, my ID is literally all the way back home. She said, so we cannot release any sort of documentation unless we have proof. And at the moment, I looked at her and I was like, I understand you're doing your job 100%, because you can't give people things left and right if they can't claim that they are the person in front of you, that they are the rightful owner. And I walked back to my car, and as I was driving home, I was mad. I was like really mad and agitated and irritated by myself. And on the way back home, it's another 30 minutes home. Right, so I mean 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. It's 2 hours out of my day. That was actually on the day when I climbed on the flight to Cape Town.
Okay.
And as I was driving back with my ID, furious again, irritated by the slow drivers in front of me, but like to a level and extent that was even more aggressive than on my journey there. And I realized that at the moment, I'm in an agreement. So I made an agreement with the fact that I'm frustrated with myself and I'm agitated that I left my ID at home and I need to travel all the way back. It came to my mind that I literally have one of three things at that specific point in time. There's a lot of responsibilities throughout the day, so I need to get this thing done, but I also need to get my emotions like under control. And as I drove, I realized there's three things that you can do when you are faced with an agreement that you came to realization with. You can either agree with it, and in my case, just to clarify, the agreement that I was in agreement with was I was mad at myself for leaving this ID at home, and I made an agreement with anger to almost like be a form of exchange, because whenever there's an agreement, there's a form of exchange. And I realized I can do one of three things. I can either agree with it, and it would most likely turn out that the rest of the day I'm going to be mad at absolutely everyone else, and I'm not going to be as productive, and I'm not going to be at peace. So I can either agree with it, or I can swap it. So I can either swap being aggravated by this by a sense of like shame, almost like taking you from a sense of like being front-putting, going and motivated, like a driven anger, to a piece of like where it's like shame and guilt. Or the third component was I can break the agreement. You can't break an agreement by yourself. You need to submit it to a higher authority in order for the authority to determine what the outcome of that is. It's like when you go to a judge. So let's say like you did something bad and you're like, listen, I want to get out of this thing. I'm going to submit myself to the authority of the judge, and the judge is going to decide whether or not I'm guilty or not guilty, right? So us being Christians, it was a matter of taking these things like, Jesus, help me. I'm aggravated. I currently know that I'm standing in agreement with anger, but I don't want it. So instead of it being at 100% to 50%, I want you to take it from 100% to 0. And I realize that when you come to a point of submission where it's like, I need you to break this thing, submission means coming to a point of dying to self, dying to the emotions that is keeping your reticular activating system like going and like running, and allowing the judge to decide what the outcome is. And now we know that the Lord is a good Father, so He won't give you something bad if you truly trust and submit to Him. And as soon as I did that prayer and asked the Lord to come and break the agreement that I was in alignment with, I sensed a sense of peace, and that actually nothing really matters. And within that, a new agreement was formed, and it helped me to funnel into a level of just accepting, like, it's okay. Like, I can't control absolutely everything in my proximity. There's no way. And sometimes I think agreements need to be broken.
When you are in an agreement, you have to take it to the higher authority to break it. But at the same time, it's not just the higher authority. You have to actually take it to the higher authority. Because I think a lot of us, we just want to have everything fixed for us, but we don't consider our own part that we play. Firstly, taking the time to recognize what the agreement is, whether or not that's a system of beliefs that are holding you back, or whether it's partnering with an emotion, to actually take the time to think and to evaluate yourself. And it's difficult, especially if you are in the moment, you're caught up with whatever you're doing. It's difficult to take a step back and just think about, like, what am I feeling and where is this coming from? But to take the time to do that and consider your own responsibility in dealing with that. Even though as Christians we believe that a lot of it comes from just the goodness and the grace of God, to submit an emotion to God, or to ask Him to renew your mind, and maybe just changes something in an instant in you. Maybe He gets you to spend some time in the Word on a specific point, to focus on what does He say about this, to change and replace your beliefs. There is a responsibility to not just accept what you are feeling, to not just accept what you believe, but to actually challenge yourself and then take that to the higher authority, which in our case is definitely our God.
And I think that the point that you mentioned is, like, you've got a responsibility to not let your emotions run you,
Yeah.
and run your life.